And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mufasa's Daily Book Reading at Noon. My name is Mpho Mukwena, and I am going to be reading from the book that we were reading for a month now, and we are in the question and answer portion of the book. Frequently asked questions about leadership. And so, if you have missed any of the readings or you don't know what we're currently reading at the moment, we are reading from The Eighth Habit, written by Stephen R. Covey. And yeah, we've had some amazing readings, wonderful gems found in this book. And if you missed any of those, definitely find them all on our YouTube channel. The link to our YouTube channel is in today's description. 10 minutes is set. I've realized that we don't really get to 10 minutes because I'm going to only read two of the questions. And yeah, we're just going to have a little chat about them. Remember to leave your comments in the comment section, leave a like, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope you've been having a lovely day. Let me read. Let me start this off. Right. Okay. Right. So question 6 reads, you say that one of the basic problems is that we are using the industrial model in a knowledge worker age. But aren't we still an industrialized nation? Everywhere we look, there is industry. That's true. This is the answer. That's true. But the nature of the value added work done is in various industries is more and more being done by knowledge workers, not manual workers. So we are not talking about doing away with industry. We are talking about using a different leadership paradigm inside those industries. In fact, this paradigm can go back to the agrarian or farming era. Outside cities, farms are everywhere. They add increased value through the strengths of the industrial and information ages. We are talking more about a mental framework than a physical environment. Question 7. How do authoritarian cultures create codependency? This is the answer. Think about it. If you have an authoritarian leader who controls, what do the followers do? Most passively obey. They wait until told and do what they are told. The behavior confirms the perception of the authoritarian leader to continue to command and control, which in turn justifies the passivity of the followers. In other words, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. All of this disempowers people's capabilities and intelligences. It underutilizes them. It turns people into things to be managed or controlled. The cycle of codependency eventually nurtures a politicized kiss-up culture where right is defined by compliance or by loyalty and where wrong lies in getting caught. This dynamic also spawns dysfunctional agreements where people say yes when they really mean to say no. It eliminates healthy conflict and spawns resentment, anger, malicious obedience, low trust, low quality, and low performance. Such unexpressed feelings never really die. They're buried alive and come forth later in uglier ways. The authoritarian then carries the responsibility for results and focuses upon efficiency. That is, methods, process, and steps so that rules begin to take the place of human judgment. All this reinforces leadership as a position and not a choice. It becomes part of the cultural DNA. Little by little, you see the truth of Lord Action's statement that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Everyone then becomes self-serving and subordinates their integrity to pleasing the boss. The problem is, in the new economy, institutionalized codependent cultures can only survive through market ignorance, artificial subsidization, terror, or by heavy tradition that is sustainable only because the competition is also codependent. The whole cycle can be broken by one person who sees leadership as a choice, who begins to trim tab a larger circle of influence, and who relies upon the pragmatics of a competitive marketplace to break the self-fulfilling downward spiral. This leadership represents moral authority, which comes from choosing to live by principles and which almost always involves some form of sacrifice. But in a free market economy, it will come out on top simply because it is pragmatic. It works, it produces more for less. And I think that ends our reading for today. Two topics that come up for me is choice, right? Choose to be a leader, choose to work in the values and the principles that are most dear to you. Choose, choose. So that was the first one. And then the other one, where we're talking about industry, is also still choosing your mental framework, choosing what works best for you in this area, not to just break away from everything, right? That's already working well. Just choosing a framework to make everything a bit more better. Right. So I hope that you've had a lovely time with these readings. And remember, if you've missed any of the readings, then you can definitely go back into our playlist to watch some of them. We also touched today on, I did say this, choosing, right, to be a leader. And in our first book that we read, Energy Leadership, right, there's also a playlist on that. That was actually like the center of the book readings as well. Choosing to be a leader, being conscious, and then influencing others through just working on yourself. So I hope that you will definitely tap into those readings, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.